Hello, faithful listener, and welcome to another episode of Edquiring Minds with me, Stephen Edwards. Now, you may have been shocked and taken aback when you saw the name of today's guest as it showed up on your device or however you're listening to the show. You may think it's some sort of ploy or joke. However, I can confirm, I'm very happy to confirm, Tom Cruise is on the show today. I received an email a few weeks back from Tom's agent and was delighted to find that he had heard of the show and wanted to come on and tell his story, and I was very excited. It's been very hard keeping the secret, and then he arrived, and then the man who had been emailing me arrived, and it was Tom Cruise. There can be no disputing that. Yes, basically what I'm going to say is whatever comes afterwards, whatever criticisms are leveled my way, I do want to just be able to say Tom Cruise was on my show. Probably have to continue this discussion online after you've listened to the episode. But once again, let it be known, Tom Cruise was on Edquiring Minds with Stephen Edwards. And now a word from this week's sponsor. In keeping with the acting theme, any budding thespians listening to the show, you'll be delighted to know that a very well-established star is offering acting lessons. Yes, Les Dennis, the Les Dennis from 90s fame, is offering his tips on how to make it in the industry. And as a special offer for my listeners only, usually it should be £20 per lesson. But if you quote the code EDquiringMinds, you will get your lesson for £5 and the promise of a hot meal. And now on with today's show.
But you see, the thing about performing in Clapham is people are more appreciative because they don't get down to the arts as much. So they enjoy the bravado of my performances when they prevail themselves. But of course, one does miss television. And the last guest spot I did was on Call the Midwife. And then it's more of a background character, but I brought a lot of pathos to him. I called him Mitch. He didn't have any lines, Mitch, but he was going through a severe depression. And it didn't really come up in the episode at all. But you can see it on my face that there was a lot of the character's pain portrayed in that face. Are you okay there, Ducky? You're not really part of the conversation over here. I feel like I'm rattling on quite a bit.
Sorry, it's just you're not Tom Cruise.
Well, that is the name on my resume. This is the name that I am billed upon, as I was saying when I was performing Shakespeare in the
hang
Park.
on, sorry, no, stop. You're not Tom Cruise. You told... I was led to believe that the actor, Tom Cruise, would be coming here today.
Well, I am the actor, Tom Cruise.
How can you... You're not. You're not.
I'm not a con man, I'm an actor, darling. I've played many a characters. That's probably why you don't recognise me from sitting face to face, is because when I take on a role, I become quite anthropomorphic. I absolve myself within the character. I played one of the Cybermen on Doctor Who, and I didn't take that helmet off for at least several days.
Okay.
I like to get inside the skin of the characters I portray, and when they don't have skin, one has to improvise, and that is one's method.
Right. Okay. Tom Cruise is an American actor. He's a short man. Once was handsome. He's now tried to keep that handsomeness and rather ruined it. He's got black hair. You are, if you don't mind me saying, a tall, overweight, grey-haired British man. You are not Tom Cruise, sir.
I see what's been happening here. You've mistaken me for the small Yankee fellow.
You mean Tom Cruise? Yeah. Mostly because you told me that's who you were.
Well, I am Tom Cruise.
Okay. You're telling me that your name is also Tom Cruise and that you are an actor?
Yes, I'm Thomas Cruise.
This is ridiculous. So for my listeners, let's recap here. I received an email from a man named Tom Cruise who said he was a big fan of my work, had heard about my podcast, would love to come on and talk about his career. And not at any point did you say, oh, BTW, just want to make sure you're not getting me confused with that other guy. Of course I would be confused with that other guy.
Well, darling, I've been in this game for nigh on 30 years. I have walked the boards up and down this country for 30 years. I assume people know who I am.
Okay,
If Hulk Hogan goes into a bakery
There
and
is
asks
no
for a pound
second
cake,
Hulk Hogan,
then
though.
they know who Hulk Hogan is. They don't think of him as the green fellow from the Marvel shows. They think of him as the orangey fellow
That's
from
a
the
false
sex
equivalency.
tapes.
Okay. I still think this is a con. I think I'm going to need to see some ID here. Do you have any ID on you?
I have an IMDb portfolio, man.
Let me Google.
You see there, my first role there, at the tender age of 8, mind you, was on Bread. Do you remember Bread?
I remember Bread.
For that I was a Liverpudlian, as I understand you are yourself.
This is ridiculous. So this, I mean, I thought I had a scoop. I thought I had an A-list celebrity. I opened the door. You come in. I assume, oh, it's one of Tom's people. But no, it's Tom himself. Just the wrong Tom. This is, I mean,
I know this isn't the time to mention it, but I was in a movie called The Wrong Tom once.
you were. I'm sure.
With Sir Ben Kingsley. Have you ever met Sir Ben?
I haven't met Sir Ben,
He's
but
quite insistent that you call him Sir Ben.
yeah, you seem to be on first
I
term
did see
basis.
him strike a fellow for just referring to him as Mr. Kingsley once, which one wouldn't think would be that bad of an imposition, but the thunderous blows he rained down upon that poor assistant director's head. My God.
Okay, whatever. Stop talking. So you're an actor and your name is Tom Cruise.
Yes.
And this doesn't happen to you a lot? That people think you're the other guy?
Well, my portfolio speaks for itself. It's a strong resume.
I'm just trying to put myself in your position. You're an actor.
Tom Cruise, the American version,
Yeah.
does not have the acting chops that I have.
No, but he has.
I have done
fans. He has
King
people-
Lear.
okay.
I have done Romeo and Juliet. I have done Macbeth.
Okay, what about Born on the 4th of July?
Yes, I was born on the 4th of July.
Your name is Tom Cruise and you were born on the 4th of July.
Yes. So what?
No,
I fail to see how this is interesting to you.
I'm talking about the Tom Cruise from Cocktail.
I am the Tom Cruise from Cocktail.
I don't understand that statement.
Well, again, if you would be somewhat of a professional and revert to my resume on IMDb, you would
Okay,
see
I'll have
that
a look.
I was the focal character in Cocktail 4, A Beach Full of Cocks.
Cocktail 4 is the straight-to-DVD sequel to Cocktail. Right, okay, again.
Of which I was the main character.
Yeah, I'm sure you were, and...
It was a very difficult shoot. Are we going to sit here and accuse me of things such as perjury and falsehoods, or do you want to hear more of my interesting tales about how I was on a movie set and they found some drugs inserted in my anus? And here's the kicker, I didn't put them in there.
Okay, so... whatever. So if I'm an actor and I'm starting out and my name is Tom Cruise, I don't know if you know this, but there's this thing called stage names, wherein you adopt another name to avoid confusion, like this situation here. You avoid confusion with another already well-known, well-established actor who happens to have the same name as you. Does this not occur to you? Did you not think about this?
Well, I've already done that.
What do you mean you've already done
Well,
that?
obviously, the rules of the Actors Guild are you cannot have the same name as an actor who's already present in the Actors Guild.
But you do have the same name. Tom Cruise?
Well, Tom Cruise is my birth name. I changed it to Tom Cruise in 1980.
What was your name originally?
Tom Hanks.
Oh, fuck. So your birth name is Tom Hanks.
Beat me in there by 1 year, Tom
Yeah.
Hanks.
So your birth name is Tom Hanks, and you thought, ooh, better change my name. Don't want to get, confused with this other guy. I think I'll choose Tom Cruise. And you didn't see any problem with that.
Well, I chose Cruise because I am of proud Mexican heritage, and I wanted that to be more represented in the modern mainstream media.
So you didn't...
I am a pioneer of rights.
I mean, did you even spell it differently? Did that not even occur to you?
I do spell it differently, man. It's right there in front of you on the IMDb.
Cruze. Okay,
Cruise.
Right, but in the emails, you spelt it like the American fella.
Well, if my keyboard happens to have some
your
sticky
keyboard.
keys on
Right,
it, then
your
it's not really
keyboard.
my fault.
Right, okay. So this is just this is a parade of fuck ups, is what this is.
I did not come here to be insulted or to have these insinuations lobbied at me.
You know why I came here? Do you know why I came here?
Why did you come here?
To interview Tom Cruise.
Oh, right. I walked right into that. Okay,
You
walked
did.
right into that. Yes.
okay? And you may be Tom Cruise, but you're not the Tom Cruise I wanted. And oh my God, and your name is Tom Hanks. That's just, I don't even know whether I'm asleep right now or...
I'm starting to get the feeling you're not going to let me plug my book. That's the only reason I came on this thing.
You might as well plug your book, because this probably isn't going to be uploaded. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to be straight.
Well, that is something else. And is also insanely ironic because, coincidentally, I'm going to be straight with you is the name of my book.
Okay.
Have you tried making it in the theatre as a straight man?
I honestly haven't.
It is next to impossible.
Okay, so your book is about the hardships of being heterosexual in the theatre.
Yes,
Oh.
it's an important story that needs to be told to the people.
Topical, very topical. Oh, hard
Do you
hitting.
know how many dicks I've seen in my life, man?
I can only imagine.
Do you know how many times I've walked into a backstage dressing room to see a man snorting cocaine off the butt cheeks of another man? I say live and let be. I don't judge.
And
But there's only so many times you can see cocaine being snorted off the man's butt cheeks before they say, hey fellas, maybe pull your pants up and do some acting.
And these actors that you've worked with, the colleagues, say Ben, if you will, eh? He never took you aside and was like, hey, you have a similar name. Sometimes I tell people, oh, I'm working with Tom Cruise, and they're like, oh, say hello to Nicole Kidman and Katie Holmes for me. You never hear that joke?
Actually, now that you mention it, Sir Ben did give me some very viable acting advice. He took me by the shoulder and he said, Thomas, he always calls me Thomas.
Don't turn this into an
He
acting
said,
story. This is not an anecdote.
This is covered in chapter 3 of the book. And he said, never tip. That's what he told me. He said, these people, they work for a living. They're getting paid by someone else. You don't need to be paying them.
Can you understand why I'm angry?
Can you understand why I am angry?
No, I can't, because you're an idiot. Can you understand why this isn't how I planned for this interview to go?
Well, darling, we don't always get what we plan for. I was going to be one of the next James Bonds. I was the Bob Dylan of acting. Look at me now, reduced to taking bit parts and crappy television shows and having to pay my own bus fare for the interviews.
Well, I would have offered, but I thought Tom Cruise would have been getting a car or a jet or a helicopter. What are we supposed to talk about, really? What are we supposed to talk about?
Well as being a prolific actor, a pro-straight but not anti-gay straight activist,
What a cause.
and an author of the book Tommy's Tale, I'm going to be straight with you, I have an extensive back catalogue of films. Romantic comedies, you're talking action genre films, you're talking biopics.
Oh, you're a biopic man, are you?
I'm basically the Daniel Day-Lewis of my lifetime, yes.
I would assume Daniel Day-Lewis was the Daniel Day-Lewis of your lifetime, but...
Well, I remember I was in catering once with Daniel.
Let's not... Name a biopic that I would have seen, featuring you.
There was a film I shot over a weekend in Aspen, and it was more of an afternoon in Aspen because it just couldn't get people off the slopes. It was the bio of... what's the chap's name? The Baldwin fellow.
Alec, you did the Alec.
No, the other one. The one everyone hates.
Stephen Baldwin.
Is that him?
They're making a film about the life of Stephen Baldwin.
Yes. Came on the set for a few hours.
That is
Terrible
perfect.
individual.
That is perfect. That is just... you make your business out of confusion and deception, don't you, Tom? You choose someone else's name, you make films that you think people know what they're about, but actually it's about that other thing, and it's it's a plausible misconception.
What is acting if not assuming the role of someone else? Can I break some ground with you? I didn't just come on this podcast to plug my book, Tommy's Tale. I also have something to plug for my next upcoming book.
I feel like you're going to say it anyway, so you might as well.
I'm actually from New York.
Right,
I was born in Boston, in New York.
Boston, New York is where you're from.
That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
And this whole accent that I've been doing for this whole thing, surprise, surprise, acting. Yeah.
Is this a bit?
You want to go get some hot dogs?
I really don't want to get... I don't really know how to respond to this now. Are you having a stroke?
Have I taken you out of the context of the conversation is what you're saying?
Definitely.
Do you know what we call that?
What?
We call that acting, my dear boy.
Right. Oh.
That's the same acting chops that I busted out for when I worked on HBO. Yes, I've worked with HBO. Thank you very much.
HBO. You're talking about HBO like it's a man. Do you think HBO is an individual? You know HBO is a company, don't you?
Really? I thought he was a black chap with glasses.
No, you met an executive of HBO. HBO was not a person. Look, I mean, well, go on. What else are you up to? What else have you got in the pipeline?
Well, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Aside from the book tour, which is still very much looking for venues, surprising lack of interest there, I have a very big project coming up with the BBC, of all places.
The BBC.
Yes, a BBC film, so you know it's going to be as equally interesting as it is tax-funded by you, the people. So thank you for that, the people.
So what is this big budget?
It's another adaptation because, as I said, you know, I have been brought in to do many biopics, so they bring me in there to fulfill roles of people who are already out there doing their thing in the world, and I'm going to be in the big budget biopic remake of the BBC hit television show My Hero.
Sorry, My Hero.
Yes, you remember with the fellow from Father Ted?
Yeah, I remember that really weird, obscure, and frankly shit show.
Oh, it was terrible.
It was awful.
Yes, but I am going to be the star.
And they thought, we need someone shit to be in this shit film. I know who we'll call Tom Cruise. And they said, oh, Tom Cruise, the American? And they went, no, not that Tom Cruise. The other Tom Cruise. Because that's what happens with you. That's what follows you around.
You know what you said to me there was quite hurtful. And it's not the first time I've been hurt. It's not the first time I've had to endure hardships. Like I said, all the willies before hard times.
I'm just gonna
walking the boards.
This interview is
all
over.
the movies, so many of the movies, television.
Don't stop trying to lead into an anecdote. Okay, this isn't Parkinson. Okay, I don't want to hear.
I remember when
about,
I met
no,
Parkinson.
Shut up. No,
Parky, he said to me.
No.
He said.
No, just stop. Okay, this interview is it's done. This has been a tremendous disaster. I mean, I guess on the bright side, I didn't really know how I was gonna, navigate my way through that whole Scientology thing. So thankfully, I didn't have to broach that subject. And you're a Scientologist as well, aren't you? You're a fucking Scientologist.
Just by asking me that, you've taken me down another 3 CT levels.
Okay, so
Xenu, Christ, what? My God, man.
Okay, well,
are you just out to destroy me today?
Listeners,
this has been the worst professional experience of my life, and I have watched Brian Blessed eat a whole birthday cake.
Listeners, you've been listening to Edquiring Minds with Tom Cruise the Scientologist, but not that one.